Holy shit. Okay, we have to talk about this. Have you heard that Germany was planning to auction items from Auschwitz-Birkenau? Have you heard about that one? Have you heard of the great German plan to auction items from the death camp? Yeah. There was an auction planned of items of the victims of the Holocaust. And I'm like, holy shit. You cannot be serious. It has been canceled by just the fact that there was a plan. There was an actual plan to auction the items. Oh, here's a gold tooth from Miss Goldberg, and we're gonna auction it we're gonna start at €100. Okay? It's not about the news being used. Okay? It's not about news being used. It's about hearing my opinion on it. Okay? Everybody knows everything at this point. I'm surprised that some people did not know about this, but who thought this could be a good idea? Apparently Germany thought that it would be an amazing idea. Like, what the fuck? I think this warrants me saying, what the fuck? A controversial German auction offering hundreds of artifacts linked to Holocaust victims, including those from occupied Poland, has been cancelled following interventions by Polish officials. What the fuck? Oh, look, a strand of hair that was shaved off of this little boy's head. €300. Can we go higher? Can we go more? Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get this strand of hair? Like, come on. Really? What kind of a messed up world are we living in when this is happening? When this is even an idea on the table? The auction titled System of Terror Volume 2. I think personal letters are the worst. Holy crap, this is so messed up. It's just, I don't have words to describe just how messed up that is. I think we can all agree that is pretty messed up, right? I don't think this is a controversial take on my part. System of Terror Volume 2. And organized by the Felsmann Auction House in Neuss in Western Germany, was scheduled to take place on Monday. The initial catalog, reported by the German daily Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, and since removed from the website, listed 623 items. One of the most personal artifacts consists of 3 journal notebooks written by an anonymous Polish Jew who survived the war in occupied Poland. Yeah, brilliant. Whose idea was that? That's what's gonna be the next step here. Oh yeah, my grandfather was in the SS. I might as well take part in the auction and buy some items to, I don't know, for nostalgia's sake, for family nostalgia's sake. Among the documents was also a letter from an Auschwitz prisoner to an addressee in the southern Polish city of Kraków. The starting price for that letter was set at €500. Can we go higher? Okay, who will give more? Who will give more for this letter? Auschwitz, the former German death camp in southern Poland, became the largest extermination center of the Holocaust, and is the site where more than 1 million people were murdered. I just cannot stress enough just how fucked up this is. I don't think there is a need to mince words here. This is just fucked up beyond belief. The catalog also contained more than 20 items belonging to prisoners of the Nazi Majdanek concentration camp. That, for diversity's sake. For diversity's sake, it's just, some from this camp, some from this camp. The spokesperson of the Majdanek State Museum, Agnieszka Kowalczyk-Nowak, told Polish state news agency PAP, The Office for War Veterans and Victims of Oppression, a Polish state institution responsible for supporting and commemorating victims of Nazi and communist repression, said that Felsmann was also set to auction memorabilia linked to victims of the Katyn massacre, the 1940 Soviet execution of Polish officers and intellectuals. It's like the genocide bingo. The genocide bingo auction. What the fuck? What else? What else will get it? What else will be put into this auction? Well, it was cancelled, but what else would have been put into this auction? I wonder. The memory of Holocaust victims is not a commodity. No, it is not. Oh my God. The auction drew sharp condemnation from Jewish organizations. No shit. No shit. Cultural institutions and Polish officials who argued that objects linked to victims of Nazi and Soviet crimes must not be treated as commodities. Brilliant. It's just brilliant that this sort of thing is happening. Like, I guess we're living in peak capitalism now. This is peak capitalism. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any capitalistier than this, does it? Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski wrote on X on Sunday, "The memory of Holocaust victims is not a commodity and cannot be the subject of commercial trade." He added that Polish diplomacy calls for the artifacts to be returned to the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum in Oświęcim. I guess this is just private people that had them in their collections and decided to contribute to the auction or something, I don't know. He also said that Jan Tombiński, Poland's charge d'affaires in Berlin, had informed him that all artifacts have already disappeared from the website on the scandalous auction following the complaints by Polish officials. Sikorski earlier said that he had discussed the matter with his German counterpart, Johann Wadapul. "We agreed that such a disgrace must be prevented," he said. Yeah, thank God. It would have been such a shit show if this actually happened, wouldn't it? I know. This feels like an Onion article, to be honest with you. This feels like it could be in the Onion. And people will be like, haha, yeah, it's in the Onion. Of course, it's such a ridiculous thing that of course it's in the Onion. But no, it's not. It's not. It's in the mainstream news because it is actual reality. It is not some Onion parody. Memory is not for sale. Maciej Wiewiór, spokesman for Poland's foreign ministry, addressed the matter in a separate post on X. "We are appealing not so much for the suspension, but for the complete cancellation of this auction." Oh, so it was cancelled. So it was just suspended for now? It wasn't cancelled? "And for the return to institutions and memorial sites where they can fulfill their proper role as a testament to that time and a document for future generations," he wrote. "Items related to the crimes of World War II should never enter commercial circulation," he added. Well, the gates have been opened. The gates have been opened for exactly that to happen. Poland's culture minister Marta Cienkowska said that the auction of the victims' memorabilia is unacceptable and must be cancelled. "Memory is not for sale and never will be," Cienkowska added. Earlier, Rafał Leśkiewicz, spokesman for Polish President Karol Nawrocki, wrote on X that the president expects the Polish government to demand the return and ultimately buy out all the memorabilia of the victims of German crimes on Polish soil. You know what? This is a thing that I can actually agree with Nawrocki on. Okay? I think it's pretty bad when all politicians on the political spectrum in Poland have a good take on this, okay? If Nawrocki has a good take on this, then you know that Germany fucked up bad. And add the cost of this undertaking to the general bill of reparation claims. Further contentious listings. Additional contentious listings included a medical diagnosis from the Dachau concentration camp in southern Germany, the first concentration camp established by the Nazi regime, documenting forced sterilization of a prisoner and valued at €400. Sterilization diagnosis. There you go. Who's gonna take it? Who's gonna give 400? Do I hear 400? A Gestapo file card recording the execution of a Jewish prisoner in the Magheim ghetto in central eastern Poland in July 1942 carried a starting price of €350. This is disgusting. The collection also featured worn stars of David from the Buchenwald concentration camp in central Germany, a Star of David armband, and various Nazi propaganda materials, including a program booklet and a poster. Do I hear a second on that? Do I hear a third? Cynical and shameless act. Jewish organizations, including the International Auschwitz Committee, condemned the event as profoundly unethical, warning that Holocaust-era documents and personal effects belong in museums and memorial institutions, not auction blocks. The fact that Germany, of all places, would think that that's a good idea. Maybe Germany should get its priorities straight and support Israel less and prevent this sort of kind of thing more. Okay? I feel like there is a what the fuck? Buchenwald? What was Buchenwald? A cynical and shameless act. There we go, auction box. In a statement, the committee called the planned sale a cynical and shameless act. Its Vice President Christoph Heubner said that the suffering of all those persecuted and murdered by the Nazis is being exploited for commercial profit. The Fritz Boyer Institute, a German research center in Frankfurt, dedicated to the study of the Holocaust and Nazi crimes, also denounced the auction, saying it represented trade in documents connected to Nazi persecution and the Holocaust in a manner that exploits them for financial gain. Well, yeah, that is what auctions are all about. Profit, while disrespecting individual rights and historical significance, a path that still divides. The Holocaust saw Nazi Germany murder around 6 million Jews, and apparently that's not exactly a definite estimate. I've heard some estimates that it might be actually quite a lot more. So think of that what you will. Millions of other victims, among them Poles, Roma, Soviet prisoners of war, and people with disabilities, were also systematically persecuted and killed across German-occupied Europe. The legacy of these crimes remains a deeply sensitive issue in Polish-German relations. During his inaugural visit into Berlin in September, Nawrocki, Poland's right-wing president, reiterated Warsaw's demand for World War II reparations from Germany, seeking around 1.4 trillion in wartime damages. Also, the whole topic of reparations, it's a very complicated one because after the war, Poland was part of the Soviet sphere and the Soviet Union pressured Poland not to accept reparations from Germany and also not to accept the Marshall Plan. So, and the Soviet Union was to be the main giver of reparations, quote unquote. It was supposed to provide Poland with money for rebuilding the country, which it did not exactly do. But that's a story for another day. The problem with the reparations is that Germany says, hey, but Poland said it didn't want the reparations, so the case is closed. And Poland will kind of argue, well, we are not really the continuation of that country, so we kind of should get reparations. It gets complicated. It gets messed up. But that's the main issue, that Poland, under the pressure of the Soviet Union, has rejected them. Has said, this topic is settled. We do not need reparations. One of the most affected countries in World War II was forced to abdicate any and all reparations from Nazi Germany.